once again to the Raj Kaul Podcast. And as usual, if you can subscribe and like and share and hit the notification button on if you're on YouTube or if you're on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, do that for me, please, before we start the actual podcast. And today I've got a very special guest. So an amazing singer, honestly. Like I went to watch a show called Ye Dosti. It's like a theatre production. And as I was there, the singer came on, and they're both good singers, the male and female. But I've got the male with me today. Chirag, introduce yourself. How you doing?
Hey everyone, I'm Chirag Rao. I'm a Bollywood singer. I also do a bit of jazz and Bollywood together as well. So I'm born and brought up in the UK, but really focused on honing my craft with regards to Bollywood singing.
Yeah, absolutely. But do you know what, Chirag? I gotta say, me and my cousin, she's worked with big artists like Master Slim. You know
Oh,
Master Slim,
amazing!
innit?
Yeah, of course,
No,
yeah.
so we know our good singers, and
Yes,
I don't mean that in a disrespectful way to any of the sing, but we know people. You can, if you listen to big people like that, and you hang around with them, you get to know what a good singer is.
yeah.
And straight away, I was blown away by your voice.
Oh,
I can tell
thank you
that.
so much.
Yeah, you weren't just doing it for a hobby. You take it professionally. Yeah,
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. Yeah. I mean, I've I've been training in Indian music for a long time. It's been a long journey. I think one of the kind of most difficult things being born and brought up in the UK is actually finding a good teacher and the resources required to learn how to sing. So that's been an interesting journey in itself.
I'd love to chat to you about that because I had a similar struggle,
Yeah, yeah.
very similar struggle with especially getting teachers and stuff. And then, but we can talk about that.
Yes, yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, no, I mean my journey in terms of learning started with my grandfather as a kid. He was a classical musician, so he used to sing. My mum sings as well. My uncle's a singer as well, so it's kind of
really,
in the
wow.
family. So there's a little bit of genetics to it, but I really wanted to kind of take it a little bit further in terms of really getting that classical basics and a basis and being able to sing properly, pronounce properly,
Yes.
enunciate the words correctly, express correctly. So to be able to do that, it's been a long 20-year journey to be able to kind of sing. So yeah, it's interesting.
Okay, so if you just before we go into that the technical part, because I'm dying to get into that with you because as I
Yeah.
said, as we talked about here, it's difficult in the UK to do that. But tell me a bit about where you from, where you based, and a bit about your childhood.
Yeah, so I've had a really mixed background actually. I was born and brought up in South London. So I was born in East London,
You can
moved to
see,
South
you can
London.
hear it.
Yeah, but I haven't spent a lot of time in any of those locations. In my life, I've moved like 28 or 29 times. That's
Really well.
predominantly because of my dad. So I think that's also kind of impacted the music that I listen to, the kind of people that I've lived with and socialized with. I lived in America for a few years, went to
Really
India.
well.
Yeah, so I lived in Nashville, Tennessee, and Florida for a little while as well.
Wow,
So
Nashville. That's like
yeah,
the
Nashville, the home
home
of
of music in
that's actually where it really started in terms of the performing arts. Nashville, Tennessee. My teacher recognized that I could sing, took me to an audition for a theatre production in Nashville, and then I auditioned for a part. I didn't get that part. He came and told me the next day that I didn't get the part, but they made me the lead in the production, which is amazing for I think I was 10 years old at the time. So that's where it all
wow.
kind of began.
That's phenomenal. So, you were moving around all these places. So, what was the impact of? I'm assuming that your dad was listening to Bollywood songs, also singing because you said your mum sang. Was it?
My
Is that
mum
right?
sings, yeah. My mum sings, and my dad can sing as well. But my mum's a little bit better. He won't be too happy when he hears that. But my mum's been a passionate singer from a young age, and she learnt from her dad and stuff. So yeah, so it's always kind of been in the family, and I just kind of wanted to kind of take that training and take it to
So, at what age did you feel that was that in Nashville? You thought I want to pursue this further, or were you encouraged by your parents, or
The first time I actually fell in love with Bollywood music as a 9-year-old, my parents sent me to India to go to school and live with my grandparents, and that was the
really? Well,
90s. So in the 90s, the voice that had just come out, if you remember, Ashiki had just come out.
Oh,
Kumar Sanu
what
was
an
playing.
amazing one of my all-time
Yeah,
favorites.
it was, you know, you had songs like Hide Hide playing all over the
Yeah.
place. And those songs just really hit me hard. I traveled to India a few times, but as a 9-year-old, I got sent there for a year and a half for schooling. And that's
Yeah.
where I really kind of developed the love for the films and the music as well. Like it just
Wow.
made and even now when I hear those songs, it just takes me straight back to being a 9-year-old. So
So I'm going to be a bit controversial here, slightly, right? Straight away, I like to be controversial, but
yeah, go ahead.
don't you feel that's
Sorry, I've lost you. Are you frozen? I don't know if you can hear me, Raj, but
uh, basically it's got a red? I can hear you. You're back. You're back.
yeah, we're back. We're back.
Yeah. As I said, I just slightly something controversial. Well, not controversial, but don't you think something's missing from that era of music and today's Bollywood music? Or maybe it's just that
Yeah,
we were brought up in the area.
do you know what it is? I think as you know, the whole world has changed so much since then.
Yeah.
The amount of music that we consume now and the way that we consume it, we're literally scrolling day in and day out. People consume songs within minutes. Therefore, the time and effort that people used to put into music, to producing those good songs, to recording all of the orchestra individually, to singing live with the orchestra, that was a lot of work for them. And now they're
Mm.
just churning out music. They're having to do it, you know, the most effective, efficient way. And because the shelf life of music is a lot shorter, I feel like some of the soul has gone from it. Definitely. I mean, even if you listen to the vocals, there are amazing singers still in India.
Yeah,
You know,
absolutely.
there were the legends of Rafi Saab,
Yeah.
Kishore Kumar, Kumar Sanu. All of these people were legends, but there are still amazing singers. But the technology has changed so much. The way we listen and hear music has changed so much. So there's a lot of auto tuning. There's a lot of post production, you know, that goes on. And it's just a different sound now, but I prefer the rawness and the human emotion that we got from
Mm.
it being real, a live performance. A live performance essentially is what we got from Rafi Saab and everyone. So I'm just going to
Mm.
stick myself on mute for just a second because I'm just got some disturbance.
No problem. No problem at all. Yeah. So this is uh,
Yeah, sorry
Chirag, you back?
about
Yeah.
apology. I've actually got a parrot and he keeps, I don't know if you, because he keeps making noise, so I'm going to
No,
get my
because
wife to move him out
because
of it.
what Zoom does as well, it'll move the noise around you.
Yeah, okay, fine. As
Yeah.
long
So
as that, yeah, as long as
when
it's not coming through.
yeah, so I think the fact that we use so many loops and VSTs these days, where everything, as you said, everything was recorded live and you had to practice really practice, didn't
Yeah,
you?
they spent like 3 or 4 days just like rehearsing. Like Rafi Saab would
Yeah.
sit with the music composers for 3 or 4 days and really understand the composition inside and out. Nowadays, it's a 20-minute process sometimes, you know. So a singer would go into a studio, they'd learn the song, record each line by line, and it's a very quick process. Whereas in those days, they really put their heart and soul into understanding the song, like understand the situation, who are they singing for, which actor are they singing for, modulating their voice and expressing accordingly. So that is a different art form back then.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, I
Yeah,
really miss it, and sometimes I get like when I was at that show, I was saying to my cousin, I says, "Well, at your show, I was saying, man, these songs they stir something in me,
yeah,
which is missing, and it's almost like a tear comes out, like thinking, oh, we're never gonna get these types of songs again."
yeah. It's mad. Like when you hear those songs and it like I said, some of these songs like when I hear the string run from Mujhe Neend Na Aaye from the 90s.
Oh,
I instantly get taken back to my school in India at that time, and I don't think I mean, other than like there's certain other things that can do that to you, but music is the most powerful. It just takes you straight back there. It just
mm,
brings that nostalgia back, and I think that's what I love about performing all the old stuff. Definitely, is that this giving that to listeners.
fantastic. So I digress, and I assume we're going to do a lot of digression
No,
digression in
it's
this
cool.
in the podcast. But yeah, so back to when you were young, your mum was trained, and
Yeah.
did she encourage you, or did you?
I think it was just by being around it all the time because my mum used to sing all the time from when we were kids. So just being around that all the time, and then also the songs that she used to sing as well and listen to. So the Rafi Saab, Lataji, Mukesh, Kishore Kumar, all of these songs were played on the radio all the time. Whenever there was a film, because in those days we had 4 channels, so if there's ever a Bollywood film being played, the whole family would sit there and watch it.
Yeah,
We'd
yeah.
have a tape recorder with a microphone plugged in on the side so we can make a tape of the songs, and my dad would be kind of trying to carefully record
Really
each of the
well.
songs. Missions, it was proper missions. If kids nowadays knew what we went through to be able to
Yeah.
get that content, they have it at their fingertips. And those songs still that I specifically remember that one film that we watched was Mere Hamdam Mere Dost, Dharmendra film. And it's a film where he's in love with a girl, then he starts to doubt her that she's having an affair, and it goes all messed up. The relationship gets broken, etc., etc. But the songs in that film were just insane. Rafi Saab just absolutely kills it with and Lataji as well. So I specifically remember those memories, and that's the power of that music. So in answer to your question, my mom used to sing all the time. My granddad used to sing all the time. We're just around it. And you know, as a 9, 10 year old, I started trying to imitate voices. I think that's how it kind of starts. You kind of try and imitate the sound of singers and the way that heroes sound. And at that age, I thought it was Amitabh Bachchan singing. I didn't realize that was
Exactly, yeah.
a playback singer singing. So yeah, it started off by listening to these amazing singers and then slowly trying to imitate what they were doing.
So did you settle down anyway after the age of 10?
The longest that we stayed anywhere was around 5 years, and that was in Banstead, Surrey. We stayed there, and then in America. When we lived in America, we moved around quite a bit, and it's mainly because my dad had businesses. He wanted to move around. He wanted to go to America, open a motel there, do the American dream kind of thing. That's the guy that he is.
That's so cool.
He's yeah, and because of that, I got exposed to all of these different cultures, which has been reflected in my music definitely.
So did you pick up on jazz there as well? Because you're a fantastic jazz singer as well.
Yeah, that's where I actually picked it up. So being in Nashville, I did a Christmas production, and there's a lady that was singing White Christmas and all of those great Christmas songs, and they just stuck with me. And that sound of Sinatra's voice,
Yeah.
it just hits you. It's such an amazing sound as well. So I don't know whether I'm just an old soul and I just really like these old singers, and I just imagine myself being back in the day in the black and white movies and stuff. I just really love the kind of 1940s vibe. We've got those undercover bootleg bars, and you've got the jazz music playing. I love that era, and I'm doing a project at the moment that's kind of bringing Bollywood and jazz together. It's
I've seen
actually
that's the
really
Brat
cool.
Pack, isn't it?
That's the Brat Pack, yes, the Bollywood
Yeah.
Brat Pack. So yeah, it's bringing both. It's basically my music. It reflects me because that's my character. I've been exposed to these different cultures, and I'm trying to bring them together.
That's phenomenal. I remember one song that sometimes I perform as well is Intaha Hogi from Sharabi.
Yes, it's very
That's got that
jazzy.
perfect blend, isn't it?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, in terms of that.
I do that with "Feeling Good" and "Pukarta Chala Hu Main." So I'm
Really.
doing that over
I
the weekend.
I do that Intaha Hogi, I do with Summertime.
Lovely, yeah. "Summertime's" a lovely song.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah. Oh wow, yeah, that works as well.
Yeah,
Amazing,
it does, yeah.
amazing. I'll
A
check it
few
out if you've
a
got it
few key
recorded anyway.
changes here and there in between, but
Yeah,
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 yeah.
yeah,
But we make it work, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, let's try that one next time when the show is sometime.
Yes, absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So okay, so what about your learning? What because I'm perplexed now because in my in my small in my ignorant brain, you're moving everywhere. How did you learn?
Okay, so when we came back from America, I was 15 at that time. I went to school for a few years, and then that's when the singing really started. There's some guys in the school that had a Bollywood band, some of my best friends. So I started going along singing with them as a 15-year-old. And um, although we still moved a lot, we were still in the same kind of area. So from Hayes, we moved to Uxbridge, and Uxbridge, we moved to Hillingdon. So it wasn't big moves,
Yeah.
the kind of same areas and same schools. So I maintained the same friends. But my real learning started after university. That's when I went to Mumbai.
Really?
Yeah,
Wow.
yeah, I went to Mumbai and I spent a year and a half there. I was 23 years old. and I learnt music. I learnt from Ustad Ghulam Mustafa Khan Sahab for a year and a
Wow.
half. A year and a half really isn't enough though to be able to learn from someone, but I'm still blessed that I got to spend a bit of time with him.
Can I stop you there? Because I get a lot of singers come on and they don't emphasize enough. So I want you to tell me about your journey in Mumbai. Did you go by yourself? Just if you can just enlighten me, because it's not an easy thing to do. Just pack up and go to Mumbai, or did you have relatives there, or what?
No, I had no relatives in Mumbai. So I actually got really lucky with learning from Ustad Ghulam Mustafa Khan Sahab. Just the way that it came about. It was, in back in the day, that was like 2002, 2003. You had the Yahoo chat rooms. So there used to be like musicians that used to get together. I happened to be talking to a tabla player that was based in Mumbai. He said he knew someone that knew he knew lots of teachers because he was learning from Ustaz Zakir Hussain as a tabla player himself.
Wow.
So he said he would be able to introduce me, and I mentioned that I wanted to learn from Ustad Ghulam Mustafa Khan Sahab, and he said he knew him. So I really got lucky. I made the right introductions. I met Ustad Ji, and he accepted me as a student. Like I said, the only regret that I have is that I didn't get to spend more time with him. I spent a year and a half up there. You need at least 6-7 years to really get a strong
Absolutely, yeah.
grounding you need that from one guru. And so I came back to the UK, and
How did you when you went there? How did you fund yourself? Was your parents help you?
Oh
Or?
yeah, so my family, my dad was really passionate about me learning music, so he funded me going out there and stuff. The plan was to start doing some work and stuff out there while I was out there as well, so I could self fund. But initially, it was my dad that helped me. So yeah, gotta get obviously, everything we achieve in our lives is down to our
And your
parents
parents,
and
yeah.
the upbringing that they give us. So very lucky to have that opportunity to go out there and learn, and them recognizing that I've got that far-fetched dream to become a singer.
So we're actually, you're skipping over quite a bit here. So
Hmm.
I'm gonna ask a more probe a
Yeah, no
bit,
problem, no
bit
problem. No one's really
because
asked me about this part.
you're going to Mumbai, yeah, you're going to Bollywood, the land of the capital of Indian music, basically.
Yes.
So where did you stay? What was it like? Were you
Yeah,
nervous? What it's
I was scared, yeah, because you hear all of these things about Mumbai being a scary place to live.
mm,
Um, and you can go off the rails. A 23-year-old finished uni. I could have got into all kinds of stuff, but I think I'm very, very lucky that firstly I had a level head on me. I wasn't going to go out partying and chasing girls in Mumbai. That wasn't my thing. I went out there for a purpose, and the purpose was to learn music, have
mm,
time to myself, and really develop a skill. And although I did have fun, I'm not, it wasn't like I didn't have any fun in Mumbai at all. For the most part, I was very, very disciplined and just made sure that I was there. We rented a flat out there. I had my family's support, so we bought a small car so I could travel to class and whatnot. So I was driving in Mumbai as a 22, 23-year-old. It was a good time. I really enjoyed it. I made some really, really good friends. I was really close to Guruji's family as well. I used to go there every other day. And the amazing thing is, the very, very first lesson that he gave me, the way that he taught, is that you were not allowed any books, no books whatsoever. You
wow,
just sit in front of the harmonium, and it's just for whatever comes out of his mouth. You learn. So he taught me the first lesson, which was in Yaman, and
yeah,
he then I think it was about 10 years later, went on Coke Studio with A.R. Rahman, because A.R. Rahman's one of his students as well. And he did that piece, the same piece, and I
really,
still I
wow,
still remember it. Is a very complex. It sounds very complex, but the way that he taught him, this was so 23 years ago. Was it 23 years? Maybe more than 23 years. It was the year. Yeah, around 23 years ago is when I learned this piece. So it was just a sorghum. Nida pama gare gama nida ma pama gare gama pama gare sa nida ni ma da ni re gare gama pa da nida pama gama gare sa nida pama gare gama sa re gama pa da ni sa nida pama gare gama pa da ni re da gare da re sa nida pama pa nida pama gama gare sa nida ni ma da ni re gare gama pa da nida pama gama gare sa nida pama gare. That's the piece. So yeah,
Yeah,
so it's
amazing.
just the first lesson, and then seeing it being performed by him and his family on TV. That was amazing. So I really got to spend some really precious time with Guruji, which was amazing.
So what was it like? Because not many people are privileged enough to go and fortunate enough to go to India and learn of one
Yeah,
of the best gurus
yeah.
there. What was that experience like, and what was your daily routine like there?
Daily routine was getting up, doing riyaz in the morning, and then it was typically in the evening that I would go to class. So during the day, I'd go to the gym, I'd have a workout, go for walks, meet some friends, and then the first part of the morning was obviously riyaz, and then later on I'd do the gym and stuff, and then in the evening go with him. Many times I'd spend the evening with him and have dinner with him. It's very much like traditional to once you're a shagird of Ustad, they treat you like a child. They take care of you. In fact,
Hmm.
I remember one time being alone in Mumbai in this flat. I was really sick. I got Delhi belly in Mumbai. I had fever, and he heard, and he came all the way from Bandra, all the way to Seven Bungalows to come and in a taxi to come and make sure that I was okay. Got me some
Wow.
food, and for someone that's such a famous singer, to do that for one of his, I was so touched. I was so touched that he actually came, and so yeah, it was good. I got to do his seva, got to massage his feet. They say that's a blessing when you get to do that, and
Mm.
yeah, I'm very very lucky that I got to do that. But like I said, that was the very early part of my journey, and I've continued learning from since then, since coming back to the
What,
UK. Yeah, I'd love to talk about that more.
what were the lessons like? What was he teaching you? Was he teaching you just pure classical, or was it light classical? Was it some film stuff with it, or what was the
So
technique? Were you taught mean or gamak and all those things as
yeah,
well?
yeah,
Or
yeah. So with Ustadji, the way that they typically teach is the first thing you've got to kind of understand is pitch perfection,
absolutely,
and the
yeah.
goal is to kind of do riyaz with tanpura. But initially, if you were to tell a student to sing dha or ni or komal ni or
Hmm.
whatever note you ask them to sing with just a tanpura, to pick out those notes against the
Solid.
tanpura is very very difficult. So the first part of the process is learning compositions, learning pitching with the harmonium as almost like you have stabilizers when you ride a bike.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
that was the first part. And then it's working through the individual tats. So you've got 10 tats in Hindustani
Hmm.
classical music, and they're similar to modes in Western music.
Yeah.
So there's different feels to each one of them. Learning those tats, learning compositions within each of those tats as well. So I got through, I think most tats. I think I got through 7 or 8 of them before I came back to the UK. But as I mentioned, I'm lucky enough that I have found some amazing teachers since, and I'm still learning from a. I've been learning from my current teacher for over 10 years, but that's skipping forward quite a bit. So I'm happy to talk
Yeah.
about Guruji first, and then
Absolutely,
then
yeah.
go
Because
to
I'm
yeah.
fascinated by it. Because as I said, I've been taught by a few teachers, but what I had, my experience here was that we had teachers here. I mean, and I don't mean this disrespectful. They were great teachers, but I felt their way of teaching wasn't as like it wasn't pure classical or like pure from a vocal session. They taught me what they knew.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Do you understand? Sort of,
Yeah.
they were
I mean,
teaching.
it's one of the. It's really tricky with Indian classical music compared to Western. When you get a Western teacher, because I've had Western training as well,
Yeah.
it's a very open kind of communication. Like we're doing this, we're doing this exercise to work on this. In classical music, the way that through generations and generations, the way that it's always been taught is from a guru shishya relationship. So
Yes.
it's from the mouth. They, whatever they've taught you, they don't necessarily, you don't question it as a student. You get told what to do, and the idea is that through trust, that trust that you have in your guruji, trust is the key thing to have in your teacher. Once you develop that trust, all of your problems will get solved. The Guruji knows what they need to work
Mm.
on in your voice more than you do. We might think that we need to work on murkis and harkats and all of this
Yeah,
flashy stuff. Actually, it's not. We just need to work on the fundamental basics most, and that's the beginning part of learning.
absolutely. Yeah.
Once you get those so there are many teachers that will make their students sing sa for a year,
Yeah.
just sa, one note, and then they'll gradually move on to college, and then then you
Yeah.
get to, once your voice is ready for it, once they deem you ready, they'll move on from there. But until then, they don't. So it is a process of trust, and yes, all of those things that you spoke about, mean, gamak, harakat, murki, gand,
Hmm.
ubgand, all of that stuff comes into it when the timing's right.
Hmm. I, I think that's quite profound what you're saying as well. From my experience as well, is that the this Sada areas is always the most important. Even my last teacher I had, stick to that, stick to
Yeah,
that, let's go
yeah,
back to that, go back to that, go back to that.
yeah.
That's yeah, especially like, and I still use
And
that.
and it's something that even if you master sa one day, the
Yeah,
next day it can be gone.
yeah,
Because it's about terao. Terao is basically the calmness, like
yeah.
being able to hold a note and keep it straight without any vibrato or any vibration or any
Mm,
wobbling or any variance in pitch, whilst getting all the resonance that you need. So from your chest voice, your nasal resonance, getting all that resonance not right, um, it's a process, and it can go if you stop doing it. So just
mm,
holding that sa every day is
mm.
absolutely critical. And
It's almost like tuning your voice. The way I saw it was that it's like before you pick up a guitar or something,
yeah,
you need to tune it, don't you?
yeah,
And
tune it, and also warm
yeah,
up different elements. Your breathing is so
yeah,
important. Are you breathing from your diaphragm? Are you kind of using all of that? You're using your instrument properly.
mm,
And when you wake up, typically, you might be lacking some resonance in your nasal cavities because you're just woken up. You might have a very bassy voice, which is why they say you should practice your bass in the morning. So yeah, it is about warming your voice up in the right way, but also there's a process to it. So actually developing your tone, like what you have to do, waking up early and doing your courage riyas, making sure that you're developing those grains and resonance in your voice is really, really important. Having that strength down there, because once you've got the strength in the bass notes, then the higher notes do open up,
mhm.
without having to give too much pressure. You've got more resonance in your overall voice. So yeah, it's a really interesting process, and I'm lucky that I'm going for it.
That's amazing. Yeah, absolutely phenomenal. Okay, so we move on. I can ask more questions, but
Yeah, no, ask
I'm
far
not.
away. I love
I'm not
talking
going to
about.
keep you. I'm not going to keep you 2 hours. We'll keep it under an hour.
Yeah,
'Cause, yeah, even though as you can probably tell, I can probably talk to you for ages.
yeah, yeah. No, I'm
Yeah,
happy
it's
to as
lovely
well. I could
meeting.
talk about this for ages as well.
It's lovely meeting a fellow musician and someone who's accomplished in in their art as well. So it's actually a
No,
great
thank you.
privilege for
I
me.
appreciate. I don't consider myself accomplished yet, but thank you for
Uh,
appreciating me.
yeah, yeah, I've heard you sing and you're brilliant. So okay, so from there, after learning from your guru in India,
Mhm.
uh, then what was the next stage?
So, the reason I stopped learning from my guru is because I was a 25-year-old by the time I came back, and I happened to meet a girl, and you know how things can go wrong. You end up
Yeah,
getting married too early, and so I got wrapped up in this relationship. Was unable to go back and learn from Guruji. I had to do the things you need to do once you're married, like find a job,
yes.
start making money, be serious. I was told at the time that I'd amount to nothing but a karaoke singer. So I thought, okay, well, let's do work
Gosh,
there. So
how did you deal with that? 'Cause that's quite
yeah,
a
I
harsh
mean,
thing.
I
Almost
I think
heartbreaking.
I think there's two things. So the first thing is that, do I believe that myself? I knew myself that I've got a lot to give.
Hmm.
If I put the work in, then there's a lot to give. And yes, it can. hurt coming from someone that you get married to, and
Mm.
as you can imagine, 3 months later that marriage was over. So it didn't last very long.
Well, I'm
It wasn't
sorry
a,
to hear
it
that.
wasn't a oh, I'm happily married for 16 years now, so it's all past, and
Yeah,
it's not like I regret anything, because I wouldn't be here doing what I am doing today if I hadn't gone through
it's part
that
of your
rubbish.
journey.
Absolutely. And also, it made me a different person. It made me more expressive in my singing, because I'd gone through a different level of pain than I'd ever. I was a 21-year-old innocent guy before then. Then I went
Mm.
through all of that, and I came out on the other end, and I had a different. I had a broken heart. You know, I'd gone through a lot, and that enables you to kind of express and emote different, and
Mm.
understand songs differently, put yourself in situations differently, and really understand what's going on with the songs and emote. So, you know, as a singer, all of these different emotions, you know, you always want to kind of store them away to be able to express correctly in songs as well.
Wow.
So yeah, I came back, got married, and then divorced very quickly, started work. But I still had that passion inside me that I still wanted to learn. So I learnt for 4 years under someone called Chiranjeev Chakravarti, is an amazing teacher from India. He'd moved, he's a classical singer. I spent 3 or 4 years learning from him, learnt some amazing things. But I think my real development, what I consider like life changing, um, was when I met my current Ustad Ji, and that's Ustad Tasif Akhtar, who is a student of Jagjit Singh. Um,
Really? Wow.
so when I was talking about Ustads that make you sing Sa for 6 months, that was very much Jagjit Ji's style. He would make you sing Sa, you know, even though Tasif Ji was already an accomplished singer, but he'd already been trained and, you know, been through so much. But Jagjit Ji had his own process. As you know, Jagjit Ji's voice was incredible.
Unbelievable.
The
Yeah.
baritone voice, the tone that he had, and all of those techniques were passed down to my current ustad. And
Wow.
he's also learnt from uh, Parveen Sultana ji, that's his ustadni as well, Ustad Dilshad Khan Sahab as well. So he's a phenomenal ghazal singer. You have to listen to him, Raj. Like, if
Wow.
you know, if you like ghazal and you
I love
like,
ghazals. Yeah.
yeah, he is phenomenal. That Tosif Akhtar ji, please do check him out. And he actually used to work with Nadeem Shravan in
Really?
Bollywood.
Wow.
So he composed a lot of the songs for them. I won't name specific songs, but he was you know, he worked with them as assistant composer, assistant director. So he would be the person that's putting on the
So was
songs
he
together.
based in Mumbai as well at that time?
Yeah, he's been based in Mumbai. He's based here now, but back then he was in Mumbai working with Nadeem Shravan as the assistant director. If you remember all the songs from Raz, Dhadkan, that was his. That was the era that Dosifji was
Really?
working with him.
Wow.
So he recorded Lataji, he's recorded Udit Narayan, he's recorded Sonu Nigam, and in fact, he's at I personally believe that he's at a stage where in his career, and he was then as well, where people hold him that esteem, that they look up to him because he's such a great vocalist and such a good teacher. So even playback singers respect him, and he's recorded all of them, and that means that you know, he's experienced how to express. Even though he's learnt all of that from his ustad himself, but hearing other playback singers doing
Wow.
different approaches to singing as well, different styles, different tones, really understanding those. And the amazing thing is not just a ghazal that he does. He sings pop, he sings Bollywood, he could sing Rafi, he could sing it all, but he's chosen as his niche is ghazal. So an amazing ustad to learn from. I've been learning from him for 10 years now.
Wow. So how did you come across him?
So I heard one of his compositions for a friend of mine. One of my friends that's a singer, she was actually friends with him, and I heard one of his compositions. It was a composition in Rag Jog called Teri Teri Si. If anyone wants to listen to an amazing composition, do listen to it. It's in Rag Jog. And I just became a fan instantly. And he was coming back and forth in the UK, he was performing here. And I was really at the point where I just was desperate for guidance. I just needed that guidance. Like, what could I do to become better? How do I become better as a
Mm.
singer? And the answer came through Dosif Ji. He's just, I feel, and the great thing about him is he makes all of his students feel like this, I'm sure. But I feel like he's an ustad that's made for me. His style,
Wow.
what he loves singing, what he is himself, the way he teaches he makes it personalized to me. So my lesson is for me, and he does that for all of his students. And I was his first student in the UK. Now he's got, I think, over 50 students around the world now. So
Wow,
yeah,
that's phenomenal.
yeah. He
Yeah,
is phenomenal.
yeah. I think for some reason it sounds familiar. I might have. Has he got a website?
He will have a website. He'll
Yeah,
have
I
a
might have
website. He's on
seen it. I might have seen his
Spotify. He's
website. It just rings a bell. Yeah.
yeah.
Okay, so Safi, sorry.
So he sung a song in Bollywood as well. That there's a song that went Chand tare phool khushboo tumse
I
acha
know that song. Yeah, yeah.
kaun
That was
hai. That
Nadeem
was his
Shravan's
song.
film.
And actually, he. I don't know if he'll be happy with me telling this, but he was not. He didn't want to sing that song in that way. It was a scratch recording. He had a fever during the recording, and the Nadeem Shravan loved the rendition so much they kept it without his agreement, and
Really?
the rest is history. That song, to this day, I mean, it's a massive hit, but it's not his favorite version of himself, and
Yeah,
it kind of follows him around. It's his biggest hit, but it follows him around. It's quite
that's a
funny.
great song.
Yeah.
I've got the actor's name in it now. He had curtains, didn't he? Sort of thing.
Yes, yes,
That
yeah,
kind of
that
yeah,
guy,
yeah.
yeah.
Because he didn't do
But
too much. The actor didn't like. I don't know whatever happened, but
yeah,
he yeah. The
but
what
in
was the
terms
film?
of the training that I've received from Dosifji, if you're interested in kind of learning about, that's the stuff that I'd love to kind of
Let's do
talk
it.
about.
Let's do,
Yeah,
let's
it's
do it.
been such an, so the first part is that I went through that, holding sa. I'd learned from other teachers that Dosifji, the amazing thing is that he started me from the very basics, and he starts all of his students from the very basics, which is a great thing because
Hmm.
then you know that every base is going to be covered. As we move forward, if the foundations are strong, then everything else is going to be right. So the first part of the process was just singing sa and getting sa right. I still do it every single day. Like I said, it's something that can be with you one day and not be with you. So it's important to
Yeah.
do sa every day in your natural voice. Using your voice correctly, and that's the first part of what Tosifji gave me, which is massively important.
Wow.
Yeah. So after that process of getting your voice stable is about actually finding the notes as well. So the frequencies, that so singing is all about frequencies and making sure, because you can hit a note and then not quite hit it, or be slightly
Mm-hmm.
flat or be slightly sharp, as I'm sure you and your listeners know. But it's just going through the process every day of making sure that you're able to hit the center of the pitch. Sometimes it's a struggle, sometimes it comes to you, sometimes it doesn't. But just being aware that this is something you're gonna have to struggle with for the rest of your life, to kind of make sure that you are singing center of
Mm-hmm.
pitch all the time. So it's a ongoing process, ongoing struggle, and ongoing reals that you have
Do
to do.
you use technology for that as well, or would you?
I try. So when
Yeah.
I'm tuning my tanpura, sometimes if I'm in a rush, I'll use technology. Otherwise, I just tune it against an electronic tanpura. But with my vocals, the way that I like to approach everything is just focus on the very, very basics. So even with hitting each note, make sure I'm working through each one. And there's a few things that you can do to make sure that you are center of pitch. So when you hit a note, like you could hit the note center, but you can also flatten it slightly and feel what that frequency feels like against the tanpura.
Mm-hmm.
You can sharpen it slightly and also feel what that frequency feels like, and then come back to center. And that's something I do with all notes. Also, like practicing all 12 notes, because we talk about there's 7 notes obviously, but there are actually 12 notes, and if you include the shrutis, I think there's 24 different
Yeah.
notes you can hit together. I think 24 if I'm not mistaken.
In
So
22 might be.
22 or yeah, is it
Yeah.
22?
Yeah.
It must be
22. I
22.
think it is. But I could be wrong as also. But
Yeah,
this.
you're probably right. I had 22 in my mind as well. But
Yeah.
there's all of these shrutis between
Yeah.
notes as well. And in Indian classical music, you use them. So some rags, for example, if you take Darbari, for example, you do use the shrutis in between, and you sing the notes slightly flat. So, it's on like
I didn't know that. That's phenomenal.
yeah, yeah. So, when you sing sa re ga, you're that it's called
Yeah.
andolan. When you're doing
Yeah.
that,
Andolan. Yeah. Yeah.
you're hitting the shrutis in between, and
Yeah.
it gives that feel. Otherwise, if you don't do that, then there's other rags that have the same notes but don't have those movements, so it becomes a different rag altogether. So that process has also been really interesting. But I think the greatest thing about him that he hears you sing, he knows what you need to work on, and he can make bespoke exercises for you. So like you have bolte that you do. He composes bolte, and then they're specific. They serve a
For
specific
you.
purpose for me. Yeah, yeah. But the biggest challenge I think of learning is once you've learned all that, you've learned all these techniques. You've learned, like you mentioned, meend, murki. There's gund, there's upgund,
Yeah.
there's all of these things. Once you've learned all that and applied it to your singing, then it's all about letting go. And how do you let go? It's the most difficult thing to do, because you're thinking, oh God,
Yeah.
there's this murki coming, there's this coming up, there's that coming up. But no, when you're performing, all you have to focus on, the main thing is the expression and the lyrics. And
Absolutely. Yeah.
that is hard. It's a hard thing to do, to kind of switch
Because you
off.
hear some singers who are great, but they almost overemphasizing those techniques just to
Yeah,
show
so
off.
when you're young as a singer,
Yeah.
I think that's one of the things that you do. You want to be complex. You want to do all these murkis. You want to do like all these harkats and show your agility as a vocalist. But I think one of the signs of maturity is taking a song, singing it exactly the same way that the original singer did. But how do you make it your own? I mean, as a musician yourself, how would you make it your
Yeah.
own if you sung the song exactly the same melody, same murkis, same embellishments? The only way you could actually make it your own is apply your own emotion to it. So it might be a case where the original singer has sung a song, very aggressively. You might sing it gently, or you might add vibrato where there's not vibrato.
Yeah.
It's little subtle things that keep the song very similar, but you make it your own stylistically by applying your own emotions and experience to it.
Wow. You almost remind me of, like, when you said about that simplicity.
Yeah.
It reminds me of how Rafi Saab and Lata Mangeshkar he sang,
Yeah.
but they're almost simplicity. What's the word I'm looking for? When you just sort of not magnified, it's almost a complicated simplicity. Because when you try to sing this, it sounds simple. When you try to sing this song, man, this is on another planet.
Yeah, no, but I think through learning. So there are some songs where, I mean, all of Rafi Saab's songs now, I always go back and relearn them now. Now that I've learned, because I've learned the songs over the years. I want to revisit, because as you learn, what happens is that you start to see the picture form clearly. Like, what is he actually doing? You're not just forming what could happen if you don't learn is that you could form a characteristic of it. So you could take a picture, it's almost like a drawing. You'll kind of, from memory, okay, it looks like that. That's what it sounds like. So I'm going to try that. Once you learn, you see a clear picture that, okay, he's done this here, he's done this. These are the notes that he's hitting. And once that all becomes clear in your head, you could see that it's simple. It just sounds complicated because they're applying it in the right way. They apply the right way on the monkey. They're not overemphasizing, they're not over embellishing. Every single movement that's there is there for a reason. Like, you could take any, Rafi Saab's most famous songs like Din Dhal Jaye, and look at the way that he's taken meend in there, or like, so Din dhal jaye hai raat na jaye.
Yeah, man.
It's just such a the key is a bit higher than I was singing. Tu to na aaye teri yaad sataye din dhal jaye. It's so simple, but it's just beautiful the way that he's done it. And I look at all of those singers like universities. That's why when you said Rafi Saab Lataji, I had a big smile on my face, because They are universities, each one of them. Mukesh
Yeah.
ji, Asha ji, Lata ji, Kishore, even Manna Day, what a singer.
Yeah. Unbelievable.
You could just learn so much just by just listening again and again and again and again to these people. And that's what I do. I'm
Wow.
obsessed by them.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, okay, we've actually almost at 45 minutes, I think.
Yeah.
And it's flown by, hasn't it?
Yeah, it
Just
has,
talking
yeah.
about music. So
Yeah.
I want to know more about, and I'm sure the audience wants to know more about your journey as a musician, because I'm hearing you, right, and I'm talking to you. I think, man, you should be, you should have blown up,
Yeah.
because the talent's like immense. Honestly, and this
Oh,
is from a
thank you.
fellow
Thank
artist.
you.
I'm thinking, you're so talented. I'm not just giving you the bump, as I say in Punjabi.
No,
Yeah,
I
so
really appreciate it, Raj. But I mean, I think
you can tell me a
with
bit about the industry.
yeah. So I think in the UK, it's difficult. It's to say the least to be a Bollywood singer. I mean, Punjabi music, there's a bigger market for. Writing original songs. You know, Navin Kundra's done really, really great with writing an
Yeah,
original song and making it a big hit, but not many people have written original songs. I've written songs, but Hindi music is I find it difficult. It doesn't get the playtime if it's an
yeah.
original. And what is it? It's not really Bollywood music. You can't
No, because
class it.
even India hasn't got a massive independent scene, has it?
Yeah,
It's only now
yeah,
it's picking up slightly, but
it's
and in the
picking up.
'90s it was big, wasn't it? The
Yeah,
pop
yeah,
scene.
yeah, exactly. So I've written my own songs that you know I'd like to release them one day. But my whole journey has been based around live performance. I started performing with you mentioned the 515 crew. That's the band that I started singing with properly, and I've been with them for 16 years. And that journey just it was being thrown into the deep end because when you're doing Bollywood and you're the lead male singer for a band, suddenly you're singing all the old stuff. You're singing Kishore, Rafi, you know, Asha, Lata,
Yeah,
Mukesh, all of that stuff, and then you've got all the new stuff. You've got the Arijit, you've got you know the Benny Dayals, you've got you know all of the newer singers, Sonu Nigam. So the range of songs that we had to cover was massive, and for me to be able to cover that, I really had to work hard because we don't just being a UK Bollywood band, we do Michael Jackson as well. We do Michael Bublé as well. So the
wow.
versatility and it wasn't like I could sing all that stuff at that time. So I really had to put a lot of work in.
You wouldn't know. I've heard you sing jazz and stuff that you wouldn't honestly you
Yeah,
wouldn't know.
yeah. I mean, the jazz is more natural, but like the kind of the Michael Jackson, I love singing that stuff now, and you know,
It's almost a falsetto in it with Michael
yeah, yeah,
Jackson.
exactly. It's a different coordination. So I took a lot of Western training to be able to sing Western music more as well. And you're right, it is a coordination. So there are different coordinations for different types of singing.
Yeah,
So understanding that there's four main coordinations for singing, really four main vocal approaches or different sounds, that really helps you be able to be a bit more versatile. So what I mean by that is if you take like a Sinatra song, like "Fly me to the moon, let me play amongst the stars, let me see what spring is like on Jupiter and Mars." That's a style called overdrive. So it's a very open sound. So if you're calling
mhm,
someone, say "Hey, hey, yo," that's the kind of sound. But then you've got other sounds like R&B. You've got Bruno Mars. It's a curbing sound. So imagine you've got a stomach ache, for example. It's like, oh, it's that kind of like plaintive,
yeah.
complaining sound. That's called curbing. And then you've got other. I won't bore you with them, but there's different types of coordinations that kind of
So I'm
enable
learning
you to.
so much of you.
Yeah,
Phenomenal, yeah.
it's possible for most people to sing most songs if they understand these coordinations.
Wow.
It's really interesting. Yeah.
Well, very interesting. So what? Okay, so um, what's the future got planned for you?
The future is my tour is kicking off with the Bollywood Brat Pack. We're doing Harrow on Saturday, 19th July. It's more or less sold. I think there's a handful of tickets, but go on the Harrow Arts website to get the last remaining
Is that
tickets. And
with
then
This Is Central? Still with This Is
that's
Central?
with Desi Central. That's right. The same people that bought you
Yeah.
Yedosti. So and they're an amazing team. They put amazing productions together. So there's that. And also there's the acting side of things as well. So I did I don't know if you know, but I did a musical called Bombay Superstars, which was
No,
with
I didn't know that.
physical. So I was playing the Amitabh Bachchan character in the musical. So
Love
the
it.
story was based loosely around the affair of Rekha and Amitabh Bachchan, although the
Really?
characters were named
Wow.
different. And we had all of their songs. It's a great production. It's called Bombay Superstars, and hopefully, fingers crossed, it's going to be back next year. And amazing singers on there as well as Rekha, who's another singer in the UK. I think when you came
She's
to see,
phenomenal. Yeah.
yeah. So
I need to get in contact with her next, I think.
yeah, absolutely. She learns from my same Mustard as well. So yeah,
Wow.
very very good singer. So yes, that musical, I'm really excited about doing more stuff like that. You know, bringing the nostalgic old school songs, Kabhi Kabhi and all of those kind of songs to the public in the UK. So there's the acting side of things, the Bollywood jazz side of things. I want to record an album with the Bollywood jazz, get it onto Spotify as well, so people can hear that as well. So yeah, there's some things in the pipeline.
So the album, can you discuss about the album more, or
Yeah, I'd like to kind of
what is it initially?
eventually do an album which covers like some of the Bollywood songs against that jazz standards. So if we were to rearrange a song like Chaudhary Ka Chand but use jazz harmonies, it would
Wow.
give it the feel of a 1940s black and white film as opposed to being a Bollywood film. So having that, but the vocals, the way that I would render the song would be authentic Bollywood. So it sits really nicely within that. So I want to get that out so people can listen to that on Spotify and YouTube. So that's
That'll be added to my playlist,
yeah,
definitely.
it's actually gonna be really cool. So it's I mean we do some really cool mashups. And when I mean cool, the reason why I think they're cool is because they work musically. Obviously, that's the first criteria. It has to work musically. But for me, the songs really have to work lyrically. So, do they mean the same thing? Do they complement each other, or do they
Yeah, I gotcha.
form a
Gotcha.
juxtaposition? Is there any kind of reason why is there a reason why they're together? So, being able to do that. So, we do things like you've heard Michael Bublé's "Cry Me a River," right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So that with Mere Dushman, which is a Rafi Saab song, Mere Dushman Tu Meri, with Cry Me a River. It's the
Yeah.
same,
It's got
same,
the same vibe. Yeah, the
same
same.
vibe. Revenge. It's
Yeah.
about revenge, essentially, isn't it? It's
Yeah.
that jolted lover, that hurt lover. So yeah, we've got some really amazing kind of content that's going to work really
That
well.
sounds
So
amazing. You reminded me of a cover we did. We were practicing once. We did a Ye Lal Rang with
oh,
red wine.
oh, lovely. Yeah, I never
Yeah,
thought about that.
yeah, it's
That's a
pretty.
good one.
Yeah, pretty cool to be fair.
That's really cool. Yeah, very cool.
Yeah, and we kept it. I remember we kept it sort of. We had that little reggae,
Yeah, yeah.
that
Has to.
riff going at the same time with Ye Lal Rang. So
Yeah, yeah.
like yeah, la, 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 la.
Lovely,
Yeah.
lovely.
It
Great.
was
So,
great
so
talk.
who? Sorry, you've asked me loads about and I know this is your podcast. I'm not trying to kind of,
Yeah.
but just out of interest, who are your favorite singers in
Oh
Bollywood?
gosh, I love like in terms of Punjabi or Hindi
In
or
terms of Bollywood, like
Bollywood.
more Hindi, yeah,
The
Hindi
all the
singers.
old ones. So Mohammed Rafi ji, Lata, Kishore Kumar.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you a story. When I was younger, my favorite singer would just be Kishore Kumar,
Yes.
right? But as I
Yeah.
started learning singing more,
Yeah.
it switched to Mohammed Rafi.
Yeah, it's because I mean, it's to kind of. I've got a good friend that says to compare is to take away joy. Like if you
Yeah,
if you
yeah.
compare the two, then you'll
No,
take.
I still love Kishore, and his
Yeah.
songs are part of my childhood. And I'm not saying he's a.
See, the thing about Kishore Kumar is he had that obviously attractive voice, which was
Yeah,
that of a hero. It sounded like Rajesh Khanna. It sounded like
yeah,
Amitabh Bachchan, and he sounded masculine.
yes,
Rafi Saab, and I'm guessing that was the 80s you were watching or listening
yeah,
to.
the
Yeah,
80s, yeah.
yeah.
And
And in
then
that era, the masculine hero was more in fashion. If you remember before that, it was a bit more like Raj.
chocolate heroes, weren't they?
Yeah, exactly, and that's the voice that suited Rafi Saab.
Yeah,
So those are the actors that Rafi
yeah,
Saab's voice suited. So it's different eras that we listen to, but
yeah.
I mean, technically, the reason why I love Rafi Saab so much is simple. Before him, there was, in my opinion, there was no one that sung with so much like expression and emotion, and also a voice that suited romantic actors. Before, the
Yeah,
voices weren't like that. He had a velvet tone. He
unbelievable. Yeah,
starts singing and people just
and wasn't
lose
he?
mouth.
Wasn't he? Wasn't he? Wasn't he singing for 5 decades?
Yeah, you would have done. Yeah, you
Yeah,
would
he
have
was
been.
sang for
Yeah,
5 decades,
yeah,
which is
yeah. Insane, insane.
unbelievable. Yeah,
Yeah,
and then so back to I'm stealing your spot here because I'm supposed to be talking about you, but because you asked me about singers, I get really passionate, same
yeah,
as you.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
then in the 90s, Kumar Sanu, Udit Narayan, just,
Yes.
man, it brings a tear to my eye
What's your
because
favorite Udit Narayan song then?
Udit Narayan song, gosh, there's too many.
There are too many.
Honestly, too many. You can't.
The reason why I love Udit again so much, Udit Narayan so much, is because like if you look at Bollywood playback singing, it's almost like you've got these universities that I spoke of, Rafi
Yeah,
Saab. They all come from those universities. So you got
yeah,
Udit Narayan, Sonu Nigam, Shabir Kumar, Mohammed Aziz that came from the school of Rafi.
unbelievable.
And Udit Narayan did it the best, I think, and Sonu Nigam. I'm a massive fan. But Udit Narayan, if you remember that song, there's a song from, as an example, the song from Devdas, I think it was.
Yeah,
वो
yeah.
चांद जैसी लड़की से यमन वो चांद जैसी लड़की इस दिल पे छा रही है आंखों के रास्ते से. So it's all very Rafi Saab style. The whole
Yeah.
way that he's approached the song is beautiful, and that's why I love Udit Ji so
I think
much.
I think maybe one of the songs which I really appreciate Udit Narayan is "Hey Ajnabi."
Oh, of
Yeah,
course, yeah.
yeah,
ऐ अजनबी तू भी कभी आवाज दे कहीं से मैं यहाँ टुकड़ों पे जी रहा हूँ मैं यहाँ टुकड़ों में जी रहा हूँ तो कहीं टुकड़ों में जी रही है.
Hey
That's amazing,
Ajnabi.
amazing song.
Unbelievable.
So I love just busting out into songs. I know
And
that's
there's
like
there's
sing.
there's too many Udit songs. Is like I
Yeah.
remember. You remember the other one? Uh, बांट रहा था जब खुदा सारे जहां की मैं मत. Do you remember that?
Amazing. Yeah, I've heard the song, but I don't know it. It's not one of
These
those.
are low key songs that
Right.
films that didn't do well.
Oh, that he's yeah,
And
yeah, he's
I'm sure Sunil Shetty was in that film,
right,
and
right.
it wasn't a massive film or anything, but it was one of his when he was on decline. But the song was so good.
Yeah, yeah. I love the fact that he like sings. When he sings, like he can go high, but his bass. There's not many singers that have that
No,
bass. Like that song from Virza, Janam देख लो
oh, what a
मिट
song!
गई दूरियां मैं यहाँ हूँ यहाँ हूँ यहाँ हूँ यहाँ. It's so low, but it's still getting that
Yeah,
tone.
yeah,
It's
absolutely.
amazing.
So I used to have this when we were at college, right? We used to have this debate because one of my friends there, right, and he was a Gujarati lad as well. So he used to hate Kumar Sanu,
All right, okay,
and I loved them both, but my favorite was Kumar Sanu.
right, yeah,
No, he's singing through his nose, he's singing through, and he's a singer, so he's a great singer. It was like
yeah, yeah.
him and his name was so.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Kumar Sanu. He's the first voice that I started to
yeah,
emulate. So the first song I ever sung on stage was "Tum Mile Dil Khile," and to be able to get his tone, yeah, you have to kind of push it through your nose a little bit more. But you know what? That was his tone, and if you think
the
back, that
emotion.
voice was so iconic that you hear. तुझे देखा तो ये जाना
That's
सनम.
a
It's
really good
very,
impression.
yeah. I mean, I like I said, I love doing impressions. I can
Yeah,
impersonate
but,
most.
but the emotion in his voice,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
like,
yeah,
man, you get goosebumps. Like so you listen
yeah.
to Kumar Sanu. I've seen
Exactly.
him many times in concert,
Um,
and every time the concert's full, and
yeah.
you always get people just still
I mean,
going mad.
commercially, without a doubt, after Rafi Saab, Rafi Saab and Kishore Kumar, after all of those singers, Kumar Sanu's been the biggest. The 90s are
Yeah,
that's his decade, and he had so many hits in there. You know, you can't count the amount of hits that he
No,
had.
it's unbelievable. So here's a question before we finish off.
Mhm.
Out of the modern singers, who's your favorite?
So I mean, I still count Sonu Nigam as a modern singer.
Yeah,
He is
yeah.
my favorite, but obviously, the, there's no one that compares to Arijit right now. Simply because he's got that tone, and such a unique tone. I think to make a big impact in an industry, you have to come in with a tone that's so different from everyone. All of them have done it. If you look at all of the singers, they have very iconic tones, and Arijit Singh has a tone like that. And not only that, they are like anything. He's done his riyaz, his
Yeah,
classically trained. He's
he's a
worked
phenomenal
incredibly
singer.
hard on his craft, and he completely deserves all the success and more that he's got. So yeah, definitely Arijit Singh out of the modern singers. But there are many singers that are great. Who's the singer that sung? Oh God, his name's just gone from my head right now, which is bad. But Pehle bhi main tumse mila hoon,
That's
pehli dafa hi.
he's a
What's
fairly
his name?
recent singer, and I think he composed that song as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
God, his
that's his
name's
own
just come.
song.
Your listeners will be upset that we've forgotten his
Yeah.
name,
Well,
but
my listeners are quite they're predominantly probably more Punjabi, but
right, okay.
they're also they're also outside of that circle as well.
I'm just trying to. I think it's
So,
Vishal. What's his name? Let me just get his name 1 second so that we can put that to bed. Vishal Mishra. I knew it was Vishal
Vishal
something. I was
Mishra.
saying Vishal Mishra. Amazing
Yeah,
singer.
he's a great
Yeah,
singer.
so out of the new singers, yeah, Vishal Mishra is amazing. Arijit Singh is
Have you ever
amazing.
have you ever listened to Stebin Ben?
To who?
Stebin Ben,
No,
honestly.
no. I,
The the amazing thing about him, right? He's a modern singer, but he doesn't do much Bollywood. He does a few Bollywood songs here and there, but he's massive on the independent circle. When I
oh,
mean he's
really?
humongous, he's
You
got
gotta send me
probably
his name. I'll check
he's
him
got
out.
about 5 million followers on Instagram. So he's not a joke, but he does like songs that you know how we're talking about the old style songs,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
he modernizes them. So
yeah.
he's got one song. Remember that song? But Hasino ko aate hai kya kya. He's got a
Yes.
song like that. Like a Qawwali sort of
Oh,
that vibe
nice.
like that. Oh, what's the word go? The songs. I'm trying to remember the words of the song now. So uh, uh, ये अदा किस ये अदा मुझको भी सिखा दे ये अदा
Right,
I forget, but it's the same vibe as that song. And I'll
right.
send you afterwards. We'll have a chat
Yeah,
afterwards.
yeah.
I'll
I'll have a
send you.
listen to it, man.
Honestly, he's phenomenal. If
I'd
you
love
like
to.
the old songs, right,
Yeah.
like especially the 90s, he's like remodernized the 90s and he's got himself a niche.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
No one else is doing what he's doing.
the 90s is just we've done quite a few shows where we pay tribute to the 90s songs, and it's just an amazing era.
Which is
The
why,
night,
yeah,
yeah,
unbelievable.
yeah, definitely,
Anyway,
definitely.
so I'm going to ask you a question before we finish off, and we'll stay offline as well.
Yeah.
Um, the podcast is about musical excellence.
Mhm.
It's my pursuit of musical excellence. What, in your words, is musical excellence?
I think consistency in your practice. I think if you put that practice in, and I think the key thing, Raj, for me is to practice without necessarily looking for an outcome. Like, don't practice with the mindset I want to become a famous singer. Just practice for the sake of getting better, and then
Mm,
everything else falls into place. Everything else. You don't have to worry about anything if you just practice with the truest of intentions and focus on the fundamentals, the basics, and everything else will fall into place. Find yourself a good teacher as well. Everyone needs a guru to learn from.
unbelievable.
Yeah,
Thank you so much, Chirag. And
absolutely no problem.
also, where can we follow you on Instagram,
Yeah, it's
on
Chirag
social
Rao
media?
artist. So Chirag underscore Rao underscore artist, I believe it is on Instagram. So
And you've got a website as well, haven't you?
I have got a website as well,
Yeah,
chiragrao.co.uk. chiragrao.singer.co.uk. Yeah.
so guys, make sure you follow Chirag. And so I'm saying your name, the proper.
It's
Am I
nice that
pronouncing
you're
it
saying
wrong?
it. Do you know what? I've become corrupt as well, because I've been used to people calling me for anything from Chirag to Chirac to you know, and the most authentic thing that an English person will say is Chirag, but you're saying Chirag, which is really nice because it makes my name sound much better. So thank you for saying it properly.
It's the same with my name because I'm based in Birmingham, and it's how you doing, Raj?
Yeah.
No, my name, and the problem is, the thing is, most white English people would say Raj.
Yes. Yeah.
But the Asians will say Raj.
Yeah. Absolutely. But it's been a pleasure to thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Make sure you stay on. So, guys, make sure you follow Chirag. And honestly, he's a phenomenal singer. If you haven't checked out his music, make sure you check out his music. Otherwise, I wouldn't have him on this podcast because he's unbelievable. Yeah. And Chirag, I've learned so much from you as well. And I really hope we're going to stay in contact and maybe meet up outside of this podcast.
I'm in Birmingham all the time, so
have a jam and stuff. So so guys, make sure you follow Chirag, and once again, like, share, and make sure you leave a review as well. And until we meet again in a fortnight. So God bless you all, and peace.